Hello internet. Hello internet. Do you know what's funny that I've just realised? I'm going to try and do this while I'm driving. I need to get a microphone. But do you know what's funny? Do you remember in COVID? Do you remember that whole COVID thing? Do you remember in COVID when they're doing the clap for the key workers? I took on a pizza boy delivery job, and I would work every Thursday night, and they would always clap me down the road. It was very funny. I was thinking, I'm just trying to get out of the house because my ex is doing my head in. And I was just driving around getting free pizza at the end of the night and just like absolutely just lapping up all of the thank you key worker, thank you, don't forget order pepperoni, the Big Dave special. Oh yeah, the Big Dave special, that was a good pizza. What did he have? He had garlic base with, listen to this, pepperoni, pineapple and jalapenos. Big Dave, wherever you are now, mate. Hello, Big Dave. I hope you can hear this video, and I hope now it means that I'm not shouting. I once did that at a business development event. You all sit around on these like speed dating things, right? It was like this speed dating business event. And it was really loud in the room, so I don't normally do it. I wanted to make sure that the person opposite me could hear me, so I was raising my voice, kind of like speaking a little bit loud like this, just to make sure that you could definitely hear me. And one of those things always used to descend into getting pissed and drinking loads. I was talking to the girl after it when we were out in Manchester, and I was saying, oh yeah. I said, oh yeah, it was really loud, everyone had to shout, and she was like, yeah, you were shouting. The way she did it, I was just like, oh, I felt so embarrassed. I was really speaking quite loudly. But it's the little funny things in life that you remember, isn't it? The regrets, the strange regrets. You shouldn't really ever regret anything, but there are some really funny, weird ones that I have. Like not going to Blackburn away with my friend Mark at university the first year. Yeah, we were on a messy night and it was like 5, 6 in the morning. He's like, oh, I'm going to Blackburn tomorrow. Do you want to come with me? We've got a spare ticket. And I said, yeah, and then I didn't go in the end. I really regret not going, that would have been fun. And also I regret not playing Lord of the Rings with Geordie, who actually, conversely, I am going to start doing some classic gaming content as well, where I'm going to do like playthroughs of classic. I'm setting up a bit of like a classic gaming business. Because like PS2, back in the day, that gameplay was, when it was simple, it was advanced enough to be engaging. Like it wasn't like pinball, you know, that old school game, or like Galactica, stuff like that. So in like the early 2000s, 2006, 2005, I feel like it's peak life. Ronaldinho, Wayne Rooney, you've got PS2, you've got like some of the games that came out on PS2, Tiger Woods 2004 for example. The gameplay is so simple. Looking back and now when I play it a bit now, perhaps it's slightly overly simple, but at the time, before I worked out exactly how to play it, it was just so fun. And like Gran Turismo 3, what a game Gran Turismo 3 was. Or what was the other one? Oh, the Lord of the Rings games. Wow, those Lord of the Rings games were something else. And that's one of my regrets, not playing with it. I was supposed to meet a friend and play with it one time, and I don't know whether I used to try and less so more, but self-sabotage was such a huge part of my life. I had this new friend that I'd made through other friends and the DJ crowd, but like this guy was like really cool and we really got on and we just had like a bit of a connection, right? And then I was supposed to go and meet him, and even his housemate Coatsy, like he said, oh, are you coming? And I was like, oh, I changed my mind. I didn't know why I changed my mind. Oh, can I fit in here in the van? I don't know why I changed my mind. I think it was like self-sabotage stuff, because I had lots of friends, but like at that time in life I'd gone through like a transition phase, and I was around loads of people, but I never felt like anyone wanted me there, if that makes sense. You know, my best friend at the time, obviously we had a very, very special connection. We used to refer to ourselves as soulmates, something that I don't think that his partner would have been all that enthused about. But yeah, I had loads of people around me, but like, I never felt like any of them really wanted me there. And that's kind of like a thing that I've gone through a lot in life. Like, school definitely didn't want me there, so much so that went to very, very lengthy lengths to get me out of there. And that was one of my first feelings of being thrown under the bus and injustice and stuff, which is also why I've got this. I question authority. They had no respect and they threw me under the bus. I felt disrespected constantly. They made me cut my hair and stuff. I had a really weird memory. Oh, please don't. I had a really weird memory yesterday of I went to school once with a Mohican. Like Travis Barker was one of my heroes. I was a drummer, and like, it's cool drummer. I do Mohican. It's fucking just expressing myself. And I remember. I remember I was in assembly. You know, at the beginning of school, you always had an assembly. We were in assembly, and listen to that smash noise. And yeah, after the assembly, this DT teacher that wasn't even my teacher said, "Come and see me after assembly." And I was like, I think I forgot because I was like, I don't really care. Well, it wasn't even that I don't really care. It was just I forgot. I was so ADHD minded that I was just in the moment all the time. So because I was in the moment, I used to forget to go and see teachers and stuff, and they used to not like that at all. But yeah, this DT teacher, which wasn't my teacher, said, "Come and see me in my department or whatever after." And then when I got there, she said, "You've got to change your hair." And like, looking back on that now, like, what kind of a system, what messages are we sending to our young people, like, that have been trying to be like creative and expressionate and all that kind of, my back is killing, and then telling them to change their hair and change themselves. For me anyway, that doesn't send oh my back, that doesn't send good messaging to young people at all. So they're obviously, my back, it's a good job I'm going to a back appointment. Yeah, I remembered that, and they used to really, really hate me and not want me there. But like, I was never a bad kid. I never did anything nasty or mean. I was just silly, just really silly. I was just really silly, and I didn't really, how am I going to have respect for someone that doesn't have respect for me? Respect earned, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't going through that sort of thought process when I was 13 or whatever, 14, 12. But like, they proper had it in for me, and that feeling of like not being wanted has really affected me for a long time. Because I took it on. I started to believe it. Someone treats you like that for such a long time, you start to believe it. And then when I got into being like a young adult, I'd have like people around me that were, not necessarily all that genuine, and like, the weird thing with narcissists is it's always a competition, and they've always got to win the competition. I appreciate that noise, probably annoying. But yeah, the weird thing with narcissists, they're in competition. It's like someone close to me, when they go on holiday, when it's sunny and you go on holiday, like, they're one of those people that's like, haha, it's sunny here. They don't say it like that, but they'll say, "Oh, what's the weather like at home?" And they say, "Oh, it's raining." And they'll be like, they'll like feel better because they're in the sun. Whereas for me, it's just like, what? Who cares? I really hurt this parking space here now. But yeah, I internalized, because when you go into social groups, social dynamics, the leaders of the group, it's always the least together ones that rise to the top, because really in any social hierarchy, it comes down to all fear-based really, and the ones that rise to the top are the most dysfunctional. That's why you'll find in friendship groups, there's usually some sort of leader, and it's usually the one that's I was going to say biggest prick, but it's usually, in a more sort of eloquent way of explaining it, is this guy going? Are you going? I'm happy. Excuse me, fella, are you going? Are you leaving?
No.
Where's your car? Can I reverse?
No, you can't come.
Should I wait here? Okay. I'll move it into there to let these people pass. Oh, it's alright, there's one here, mate. Having a van in here is probably not the best thing to do, is it? Let's try and park this van. So yeah, anyway, I internalized all of it, and because I was around, fucking hell, this is a big van, I have to do that again. I did think about not bringing the van, but best laid plans there. Right. I appreciate that this part of the video is probably not the most engaging, but yeah, it's a funny thing with social dynamics. Thank you. It's a funny thing with social dynamics because it is always the most dysfunctional that rises to the top of the pack, and that person generally, in my experience, that person generally, in my experience, is somewhat narcissistic, if not very narcissistic, and I've definitely felt the wrath of those people for a long time, and I just want to be, I just want to be loved and accepted, and I think that's ultimately, oh my back, I think that's ultimately what everybody wants. It's just to feel like they fit in, and I've never ever had that, and it's always been something that I've internalized and thought, what's wrong with me? They must be right. I remember just before I got kicked out of school, I got in trouble for smashing my head against a filing cabinet, and I dented it. Don't ask. And yeah, I got collared by my form teacher. No, the new headmaster walked past the window, and he saw me smash my head against this. I was just trying to make people laugh, just smashed my head against this filing cabinet, and he walked past the window as I did it, and he was like, see me at lunchtime. But again, it was like, I was having fun, I was young, I was flying about, I was just trying to be myself. And actually, conversely, being in a private school environment in that instance really protected me, because you don't get the what's the word I'm looking for, the sort of the aggressive nature of adolescence. You don't really get it in private schools. I was smashing my head against to see me at lunchtime, so I forgot to see him at lunchtime because I'd always forget. And then in the form after, you have form after lunch, the teacher, who really didn't like me, he said, oh, you forgot to go and see someone or something like that. And I was like, oh shit, because I knew he was the head teacher, and he went, you're in trouble now, boy, like that, in front of the whole class. It was like, flipping heck, mate. Boy, like proper down to me. I was like, I didn't last that much longer after that. But I actually saw that teacher that did that, my form teacher, after I'd been kicked out, on a train afterwards, because there was loads of them that colluded to basically get evidence to try him. Anyway, and I saw him on a train afterwards, and I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything. I was, and I always, looking back on that now, I would really hope that, people that have ever wronged me in that sense, or there's been any injustice where I felt wronged, can look at themselves and be like, oh yeah, I wouldn't do that again. And I really would probably prefer if that wasn't my role here. But I think part of my role here is inextricably linked to people thinking, oh, I wouldn't do that again, which for all intents and purposes has led me to being upset a lot. I think because of the slightly autistic bit, I don't ever really register the feeling, and so it's like more manageable, but it's definitely led me to a number. I've had my heart broken so much, because I went looking for family. So when I went looking for family, I would attach, and I would always end up like with a little bit of a sidekick. It was weird, but it was really just, I was looking for love and they were looking for, I don't know, love as well. They call it codependence now, don't they? But it's not. I don't think codependence should be looked down upon in that sense, because you're fulfilling a gap that the other person doesn't have. So in a way, codependence is actually really beautiful. But yeah, hurt a lot. And I really hope that after pouring my heart out for 14 minutes and 39 seconds, that because it's attached to the Bluetooth on the van, that you'll still be able to hear this. But yeah, bit of a random one today. I'm just at the hospital getting my back checked. After the car crash, it got really bad. Just losing. If you want to get scared, feel like you're losing the feeling in your legs. That is one way of scaring you. And then slow down, and then yeah, even walking the dogs with it is just, you know, there's been times in my life where I literally have to repeat mantras to myself over and over again, like there is no pain, there is no stress, pain doesn't exist. Like with my back, it's like I had responsibilities. There were things that I had to do. I had to get up and walk the dogs. There's no leprechaun at the end of the rainbow, you know, if that's the phrase, which it probably isn't. Like, I have to get up and do this. There's no way that I can't. And actually, in hindsight, I do appreciate that the dogs probably kept me alive. And I said that to them the other day. They're very intuitive dogs. I don't know if they completely understand your words, but they understand the feeling and the sentiment. Definitely, there's definitely more God energy in dogs. But yeah, that one with the DT teacher came to me, and I was just like, why are you telling me what to do with my hair? Why do you want to control like that kind of stuff? It was but as soon as they had any reason to get on me, they were on me like fly on shit. I'm not doing very well with my phrases today, am I? But yeah, I remember once as well, there was a history teacher, and he asked us, we were doing like a quiz at the end of the class, or during the class or whatever, and we were doing a quiz. And one of the questions was, where do Millwall play football? And I was obsessed with Football Manager, so I knew that they used to play at the Den, and they now play at the new Den, right? So that was one of the questions, and I used to shout out in class all the time. But I said, they played at the Den, and now they play at the new Den. And the teacher I thought I must have been referring to something else, or like what's the word when you're talking about something like sexual innuendo. He must have thought, and he really bollocked me. And I was really just trying to engage in the question and engage in the class. He really bollocked me, and because all I said was, and now they play at the new Den. And he really bollocked me, and then literally, to his credit, Mr. Jones, hello mate, he literally went, oh, I don't know, I'm really sorry, I got that wrong. Like, yeah, apologies. And that kind of shit never used to happen. Then people apologise, and that was cool. Yeah, that's a sign of a big man. That. There was one where I was walking. I need to go to my appointment. There was one where I used to push, you know, the doors, the double doors. I used to push it open on the metal bit, like push it open with my foot like that. And I did it on anything they could see to get something, they would try it. And I opened the foot of my door like that, like literally not bad, just on the metal bit as well. Like I wasn't being naughty, or I was just opening the door. I was just like thinking, like, how can I open this door? Maybe I had something in my hands, I don't know. And I opened my foot in the door, and this guy from the end of the corridor who used to sing in the choir really loud, one of those guys, and he shouted, Adam! Adam! And I was like, what? I didn't say what. I was always really polite. I was just like quiet. Because I never used to really answer back. Answering back wasn't really a thing in that school. But in this case, you just open the door with your foot. Would you do that at home? I went, yes. Because I would. And they didn't like, well, you don't do it at school. And there's another one as well. This one, all my friends used to really laugh about. We were in history. I don't think we were winding the teacher up. Obviously, he was wound up. But to his credit, he was big on the JFK thing a long time ago. Anyway, he the worst thing is as well, which I didn't do. One of my friends spat in his coffee in the other room. And that's so bad. That's so naughty. But I wasn't like that. Anyway, we were messing around. Me and a friend were like stabbing each other with pens on the table and stuff. Love him. And the teacher brought me to the front of the class and was bollocking me, like shouting in my face. Who do you think you are? And like, how do you answer that question? Who do you think you are? And I just didn't know what to say, so I just went, Adam. And he went, get out of my classroom. It's like, how the fuck else do you want me to answer that question? You asked me who I am. Maybe he was expecting me to go like, no one. I don't know. What? Firstly, why are you shouting at a teenager? Get your shit together. But yeah, I should share more school stories. I did loads of wild stuff. Yeah, I will do some more school videos. And also, yeah, wait for the classic gaming content, because I really do like classic gaming. I'm going to do some walkthroughs, because those games were really, really cool. And I don't know, I just fancy doing it. I'm making a retro gaming setup in the conservatory, and I don't know, I want to try and share more of my personality with the world. And my world is so closed off. I literally barely leave the house, only to go boxing. I don't even go to the supermarket. I literally just go to like... Are you all right? Are you all right there? Or do you want me to move? I can move forward and let you in if you want. Yeah. Anyway, another good deed of the day. Take care.